After about a year and a half of marriage, I decided to end things with my wife. We are in the middle of sorting things out now and separated. We began dating in 2020 when she started her medical residency, and now she is in her fellowship. We moved across the country for her fellowship. I had an incredible job offer in City X, which also has a good program, but we agreed as a couple that it was important for her to get the best possible training, which was in City Y. So we moved to City Y about 8 months ago and sold the house that I had purchased before meeting her, that we were both living in City Z. Despite the move, I am really lucky that I was able to keep my job, which I am grateful for. It pays well and I love what I do. Throughout our relationship, I was completely doting, affectionate, providing, inclusive to her friends and family, and really loved her with all I had. I know for a fact I prioritized her, and I was told by my friend's family, as well as hers, that they really noticed it and thanked me. My wife had previously had a lot of painful relationships, struggled with mental health, all while having a stressful job. In my opinion, she didn't have as much room to provide affection, comfort, and general providing for our relationship and home. I chalked it up to mental health and crazy work life. I was totally okay with that and never held it against her. But what I was not totally okay with is how there was so much arguing, lying, and fights throughout our relationship. I will admit I can be stubborn and always have room to work on communication, but I felt like there was some abuse hidden throughout the argument's lies. As an example, 2 weeks after I proposed to her, it happened to be my birthday and I had a planned gathering at my favorite dive bar in town. All of my friends came, but she said she could not come because she was working on a project at home. It really broke my heart at the time because I would have dropped anything I had to spend time with her on her birthday. I didn't give her a hard time about it and definitely wish she was there with me while I was out. I get that she has a tough job. A few weeks after that, I come to find out that on my birthday, her ex-boyfriend texted her. They worked together at the same building at the time. Throughout our relationship, she had constantly told me how upset she was over the way he treated her when they were dating. The guy sounds like he was manipulative and mentally abusive to her. Apparently, they had a few good, fun interactions at work over the past few months, and so he texted her on my birthday and asked if she wanted to get coffee. She dropped her work schedule and went to meet him. I found all of this out while I was helping her troubleshoot some issues on her laptop. She was right next to me at the time, and I clicked on Microsoft Word instead of Outlook on accident, and this journal pops up, and it is dated and describes the whole event of meeting her ex. She wrote how he was flirting with her, talked to her about how she'd look hot in the car he just recently bought, to which she replied, "My fiance just bought that car too." However, I do not own the type of car he was talking about. I felt betrayed and so deeply hurt. When confronted, she denied the whole thing and said this was from years ago, not recent. She told me that I was mistaken. She finally admitted and apologized. I told her that this whole thing was deceitful, hurtful, and that I value honesty more than anything, and felt so betrayed. I got very mad and told her I need a few days apart to think about our relationship. We came back together a few days later and worked on this in couples therapy. We had currently been going already, and things seemed better. However, since then, there have been numerous outright lies and deceit. She will lie to me and gaslight me and call me crazy and a bad partner for not believing her, only for her to later admit that she was lying. There has probably been one lie every 3 or 4 months, and they range in severity. Each time I beg her to please stop, and we continue to work on this in therapy. I keep reminding her how dangerous lying to your spouse is, as it degrades the most important part of a relationship. I realize I have written a lot about one specific item, but there is also fighting that escalates into very dangerous territory. We will be arguing, and I ask for space and try to do a timeout, but she will follow me and close me off into corners and keep shouting. She will physically restrain me from leaving to go on a walk so we can cool off, or follow me outside and continue yelling at me in public in our neighborhood. When I ask her to please give me space and let me cool down, she will shout outrageous things like, "What are you going to do? hit me. I have never in my life done anything like that and find that sort of behavior absolutely despicable. Most recently, during an argument, she stormed off and threw a large object across the room and it hit me. She had been drinking, and when we talked about the argument the next morning, her immediate reaction was, "Are you still going to want to have kids with me?" Not, "Are you okay?" I had a really bad bruise and it hurt like hell. In any case, a few months ago, there was one final lie, and I decided I have had enough and told her I think we have some issues that will only get worse and I want a divorce. We have talked about our issues for years, seam therapy, and I fear this problem will get worse. A mouthful, but am I overreacting here? What do you think about? Here are some popular comments.
You are not overreacting. It sounds like you have made some big sacrifices in your relationship for the benefit of your partner, but she can't even celebrate your birthday with you, and then to have spent it with her ex? Absolutely not. Sounds like you are also describing mental and physical abuse. Go move to City X.
You are not overreacting. So much of what you described is abusive. Leaving this relationship is the right choice.
I'm typically very opposite of most people on these subs and say that if you loved the person enough to marry them, you made a commitment to at least stick around for a while and try to revive what was there before resorting to the classic "this just won't work" Reddit mentality. But in this case, it truly sounds like your heart is in the best place and hers just isn't. If she doesn't care about trust in the relationship, it's going to be hard. And if it was only all of the lies, you could maybe claim she's just got compulsive lying or defensive tendencies. But you went for coffee with her ex on your birthday and wrote about him in a journal. And gaslighting is just never a good sign when it comes to someone who doesn't seem to care about honesty or trust. Long story short, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I definitely don't blame you for leaving, and anyone who says you're wrong for quitting or giving up or some other guilt trip bullshit has never experienced someone manipulating in that way. Source, your situation sounds exactly like me and my ex, and I'm so thankful to this day I got out before marrying her. I get married to the real love of my life in 10 days.
No, you're not overreacting. You gave it your all, but once it turns violent, it is no longer worth it. IMO. I would not believe a word she said about her exes. Maybe her past relationships were painful because of what she did. Medical school and residencies can be hard. My best friend finished hers at the peak of the pandemic, but she never once got like this, so don't let her use that as an excuse.
Most recently, during an argument, she stormed off and threw a large object across the room, and it hit me. You are not overreacting. Her abusive behavior is escalating, and you need to leave for your safety. Have friends with you when you ever have to be alone with her again.
You're not overreacting. She ditched and lied to you on your birthday to go be with her ex. The trust is gone, and once it's gone, it can never be rebuilt. Divorce is the right answer.
She sounds like an unstable narcissist based on your description. If you had called the police after she battered you, it could have ended her nascent career. Good luck with your future relationships.
This feels really abusive on her part. I'm sorry you've had to endure it. Lying like that is pathological. You mentioned she has had mental health issues in the past. It sounds like they have been at play all along. Go ahead and get yourself out of this marriage. People don't change. They really don't. And they especially don't change for other people. You gave it a shot. You deserve better.
No, run. She a liar and a cheat. Why do you want to get abused? Go find someone that wants you. Imagine on your birthday she fucking her ex, and you are still with her.
When I became engaged a while ago after my GF moved in, I said please get a part-time job or some other form of income. I was working 7 days a week and running a distribution ship. She got employed, but I called her employer during a snowstorm to see if she can spend the night to be safe. We both worked midnight. Well, after the call, she quit 2 weeks prior. Each day afterwards, I asked how work was. She lied, she quit, lol, and I played her game. I took the ring back and she moved out 2 days later. No lies, I have standards. Edit, she had 3 college degrees.
So I'm glad you're divorcing, and I want to give some insight for you, if nothing else for your own closure. Assuming everything your wife said about past bad relationships was true, sometimes we actually get a boost dopamine maybe, and addicted to dysfunction. And so when we then find someone who is healthy, we self-sabotage and cause the drama ourselves. This isn't healthy and it's unfair, and she needs to be seeing somebody about working through the trauma and baggage. Assuming everything about past relationships was a lie, she has a personality disorder or something else not quite right with her that she is not managing or healing, and she needs help, but not from you. Whichever option she is abusive and toxic as she is right now, and you can't help her if she won't help herself or even recognize the issue.
Women like that will get you sent to jail. She's trying to instigate a fight so she can call the cops and get you arrested. Divorce her, yes, but afterwards you may want to go gray rock on her. It will be hard for you, especially if you still have feelings for her, but it sounds like she has a lot of narcissistic tendencies, and cutting all contact with her is probably your safest option. Thank goodness no kids are involved. Good luck. Sorry this all happened to you.
She sounds like the abuser in the relationship, but seriously, lying all the time is definitely a deal breaker. She sounds a little off too. Debt breakaway.
Marriage therapy works if both parties are willing to work it. She isn't.
She sounds like a candidate for a personality disorder. I'm sorry to hear this. Stay safe and don't minimize the danger that violence presents.
Sounds like she was the cause of the painful relationships in her past. You're not overreacting?
A relationship is give and take. You give, she takes. She has drained you. It happens, and you are definitely not overreacting.
Keep a VAR on you all the time. She sounds unhinged. Please pack up and leave. This is not a relationship, it is hell.
No, she's terrible, and I wonder who was the abusive one in the last relationship, and now he's crawling back to her for some more abuse. Don't make that same mistake. Also, be prepared for her to lie about you after the divorce.
I write as a physician with a non-medical spouse to expose what the stress of residency was like. My husband and I were engaged when I entered medical school, but neither of us from families with medical people or friends. I talked with him about it before applying to the field, but we didn't really know what we were getting into. Med school and residency was really hard. He put up with a lot. It's difficult to say in hindsight if he would have agreed. I was only erratically available. I cried a lot. I told disgusting stories. My empathy for anything that irritated or hurt him sometimes got really out of whack when I spent the day around really objectively sad cases. It is totally true that the excuse note you get for being in medicine becomes convenient. Eventually, no one knows if I'm post-night shift, zoning out because I'm tired, irritable because I saw someone needing a foot amputated, or if I'm just being bad company because I'm a jerk. Particularly since my spouse isn't medical, calling me out on my bullshit is a delicate task sometimes. It takes a strong and confident soul. I didn't lie to him. I never misrepresented him to other people or flirted with exes, and I absolutely certainly never threw things at him. I likely did less than my share of the dishes and skipped mildly unpleasant social gatherings. Residency sucks. I love my work now, and I understand why the training is intense, but I'm not certain we would have knowingly entered into it if fully informed. We survived it. At the end of 30 hours working at the extremes of emotion, I came home a husk of myself sometimes. It can be much better after training ends. If there's any chance for this marriage, it would only be if you notice her behavior strictly correlated with certain shifts or rotations. She's completely apologetic and doesn't exhibit any of these truly shitty behaviors when under normal stress. However, I think that the details you provided are pretty damning, and I certainly wouldn't call you the asshole for at the very least taking a month's trial separation to get your papers in order and think deeply about it. Would you really want to have children with someone who has such a short temper?
Gee, she sounds like my ex. When I needed to be away from his yelling, he'd follow me into another room, stand in the doorway, and continue to shout at me. I'm not sure if he changed after I married him, which happens, or if I didn't see the abuse until afterwards.
You didn't overreact. You did the right thing. It would only get worse. It's better to end things early before they escalate to a point of no return.
I think you already know what you need to do. I'm sorry for the loss of your dreams with her and for your pain. Just keep thinking of the future you who will feel happy again, confident and secure. Because I bet you miss that guy. Once your mind is free and healthy again, then you'll be ready and open for a new and better partner.
The abuse and gaslighting is why you are here asking us if you are overreacting. You should have left long ago. She will never value you enough to care to be honest with you. You will always come second to her personal whims wants. She fucked her ex on your birthday because she knew you'd be busy. Divorce then, treat them as though they passed away. Then get therapy help. Do not communicate with her fam. In fact, block them first. All of those stories about her exes being horrible? More lies. She was the horrible one and you're getting rewritten history. Run. There's nothing in this but more pain.
We began dating in 2020. So you've known her for 4 years, including a marriage of a year and a half? How could anything possibly go wrong? Don't marry a stranger. Throughout our relationship, I was completely doting, affectionate, providing, inclusive to her friends and family, and really loved her with all I had. I know for a fact I prioritized her, and I was told by my friends, family, as well as hers, that they really noticed it and thanked me. What is your status if you are giving her everything and prioritizing her over yourself? You are meant to be her equal. You aren't her equal when you behave like that.
You've done everything and she is the problem. You are not overreacting. You are a good husband. Peace is more important in this world. You cannot fix a person who doesn't want to be fixed. I know it hurts, but I've been there. Hang on there. You got this.
You are not overreacting. In my opinion, you could have walked away even earlier based on what you've described and still wouldn't have been overreacting then either. It sounds like you have a classic narcissist on your hands. Once this type of person knows they can get over on you, it's already over for your sanity. They won't change. They just get more manipulative and emotionally abusive, etc. Gaslighting, verbal, sometimes physical abuse. It sounds like you have done work on yourself and are willing to continue to work and grow. So do not waste your efforts on this type of person. The only thing you will get in return is pain and burnout. If you leave now, you will be hurt, I'm sure, but it's better than giving any more of yourself because this type of person only loves themselves. They will do anything to self-preserve, no matter who they hurt in the process. Deep down, these types are very insecure and probably abused at some point themselves, so they will typically gravitate to people who don't have themselves together if given the option to make them feel good about themselves in that moment. Thus, her choice to give her ex her time over you on your B-day. These types love attention, especially the chaotic, unhealthy kind, hence her trying to escalate fights when you try to de-escalate them. These types are famous for spilling some truth to distract you from the whole truth, which is that she's probably more involved with the ex than you know until it benefits her for you to know more. Again, narcissistic people are very good at manipulation. Based on the fact you sound like a giving and understanding person, she will keep taking as long as you allow. So don't walk, run, and don't be manipulated to stay any longer. I'm curious to know what she said when you brought up you were choosing divorce. Did she act like she could care less, or did she try to apologize and make you feel guilty? Also, as part of your healing process, search within yourself to find out why you were attracted to this type of relationship to begin with. One in which, as you've described, sounds like you've always given more than you received, with your basic needs like quality time, healthy communication, etc., going unmet. Yet, you still chose this person. This self-awareness is very important in your ability to truly let this person go and not attract similar types of people into your life ever again. I resonate with you, OP. You deserve more than this. Make sure you know that I'm still recovering 2+ years later from being manipulated for over 5 years by a narcissist. Don't be me, lol.
She will physically restrain me from leaving to go on a walk so we can cool off, or follow me outside and continue yelling at me in public in our neighborhood. When I ask her to please give me space and let me cool down, she will shout outrageous things like, "What are you going to do? Hit me?" So OP. I saw this, and it was evident at this point that your wife has serious character issues that are not being addressed. Down the road, there will be police, orders of protection, and, I suspect, if you ever had children, they would be collateral damage to her mentality. People get angry, but pushing you to get abusive is very toxic. More than enough reason to move along and alone.
You are correct in getting out equals I expected you to include in your post. that she called the police and lied to them to get you arrested. Leave now before it gets worse.
Overdue to move on. Did I read correctly she will be a DR? Oh boy, either way, get yourself together and move on. Good luck.
Nope, she needs to see the grass is not greener on the other side. Toss her to the curb and get on with your life.
Sounds like a very toxic human. Sort of reminds me of my wife I just separated with. For other reasons, but she did carry a lot of baggage from her prior relationship into our relationship, which ultimately did hinder us at times. At the end of the day, it sounds like you deserve better, and this will be an ongoing issue between you two moving forward. Best of luck, brother.
Not overreacting, but you need half to lawyer and start planning to leave with all your things while she is out. Be safe.
I want to start off saying I'm truly sorry for all you have been through. It must be brutally heartbreaking. You need to leave. One important thing to note, she wasn't abused in her last relationship. She's the abuser. Please don't second-guess this, and even if she seduces you, do not sleep with her. She knows you want to leave and may baby-trap you, which is the last thing you need. Take care of yourself.
Not overreacting. I was on board with you ending it when she skipped your birthday celebration, went out with an ex, and lied to you about it. Then you mentioned the physical abuse, cornering you, throwing things. Nope, this is not a safe or healthy relationship, and the therapy work is not working.
Sounds like you made the right decision. Sorry for having to go through it, but it happens to the best of us. Unfortunately, sometimes people get damaged before you meet them, and they can't love others until they fix themselves. So it may not even be her fault that she lies and whatnot, but the drinking and yelling, all while physically stopping you from walking away when requested to cool down, will definitely result in bad outcomes for both of you. I watched this type of behavior for years with my parents. Dad tried to step away to break the argument, and my mom would literally just throw stuff at him to re-engage the fight. It's a cycle that never ends until someone leaves. The good thing is you left with enough time to have a life with someone else. And if you're a good person, that will come. Wish you the best. Take care.
Not overreacting, only you know what your breaking point is. If you don't have trust, don't feel valued, the relationship gets abusive, etc. It's not healthy. Know that a person lies due to fear of getting caught. She evidently lied about the ex because she knew you wouldn't approve. She lies about whatever else because she wants to do what she wants to do and isn't adult enough to face the consequences.
Ron, the foundation of any relationship is built upon trust and mutual respect. She lies to you, she doubles down on the lies when caught. She ditches you on your birthday to hang out with her ex. All these things show that she does not respect you and you clearly can't trust her. Therefore, there can be no relationship, and her throwing things and saying stuff like, "Are you going to hit me?" are huge red flags. It's an easy transition for her to switch that to, "You did hit her." Those claims can totally wreck you legally and socially. I wouldn't have anything to do with a woman that talks that way. You already know she is a liar.
You are absolutely not overreacting. I know it hurts like hell, but you know what you have to do. Please take care of your own mental health. She needs therapy as well, but I would be willing to bet that she will not go through with it. I'm sorry you have to deal with this, but you deserve to be happy.